In line with my experience, I can only speak for English print media, and I would like to celebrate the amazing women I've encountered on my journey on this International Women's Day. Before I ever stepped into an editorial, I was inspired by the likes of Chandani Kirinda, Namini Vijayadasa, Renuka Sadanandan, Kumuduni Hettiarachchi and Frederica Jans. I would like to refer my phone because I don't want to leave anyone out. The leader, when I joined, had many fantastic females on board. Rain Vikramatunga, Frederica Jans, Mandana Ismail Abe Vikrama, Darisha Bastians, Sonali Samrasinghe, Dilrukshi Handunetti, Jamila Najmuddin, Rani Muhammad and Risidra Mendis. From the leader, I joined the nation, and there I worked with Darisha Bastians, Munza Mushtaq, Vindya Amaranayaka, Lakna Parnamanna, Rukshana Rizvi and Sulochana Ramaya Mohan, to name a few. Several of these women went on to become editors, deputy editors and desk heads, and many of them hold top positions in editorials today. The Sunday Times is packed with a lot of powerful and inspiring women. The Daily Mirror has some fantastic female journalists, and at the Daily FT, of course, it is no different. Our most senior journalist is Chandani Kirinda. My fellow deputy editor is Udita Jayasinghe, our news editor Charumini De Silva, and our youngest journalist Shailendri Vikramaditya. When I look around at other publications, again, there are many amazing women at the top. Hannah Ibrahim, Raisa Vikramatunga, Roel Raymond, Gagini Veerakonda, Jennifer Rodrigo and Savitri Rodrigo. Most of the magazines also have women at the top. At High, there's Shamli Tudave, Tina Edward Gunawardana. At Lanka Woman, we have Indika Sellaheva. Those are Vijay publications. And at many other publications elsewhere also, there's women at the top, including at your own. Some of the most beautiful articles I've read over the last so many years have been penned by women. Darisha Bastians, Amalini Disera, Adila Ismail and Smriti Daniel. Yes, there are challenges, but there are also many women in media doing great work, training, inspiring and leading the new generation of journalists. The women who have come before us, who paved the way for us, have done a fantastic job, and I can only hope that we carry the torch ever forward.
Women have been a part of the media in Sri Lanka for a very long period of time, but we still seem to be very backward when it comes to appreciating the contribution that women make. If you take a look at some of the leading newspapers, leading magazines, women are at the topmost positions, but somehow the value that a woman has, or a female writer or a female journalist has in the media, still seems to be very low as opposed to our male counterparts. Being a part of the media also has been difficult, to say the least, because when you go out there, not everyone accepts you the same way that they would if a male journalist was either posing a question or appearing on behalf of their publications or their stations. Having also worked in the electronic media, I have found that even within the media organizations, there is a lot of competition, where a lot of the male workforce in the media somehow seem to be threatened in a way of women. How I like to think of it is that women have a way with words, and we know what we're talking about, we know what we want, and we know how to express ourselves better than men do. So sometimes I feel that men might be a little threatened by that, and that may also be one of the reasons why women still are to find their place when it comes to the media industry in Sri Lanka.
So I feel the ecosystem is shifting. More women are joining the industry, and especially with digital media, women are more adaptable to changing technology, and I feel women have more patience, and hence they can grasp new technology quicker, and they're happy to keep learning as they go. At Vijay newspapers, women are encouraged to take on leadership roles, and women are empowered to bring new ideas and bring to life new ideas. Female journalists are empowered to investigate and report in an unbiased manner, which is why I feel we definitely have some of the best, most respected and most awarded female journalists in-house. the organizations is very supportive of females, and the support system that we get within the organization is incredible. And hence I definitely feel, at least at Vijay newspapers, the ecosystem is not just shifting, it has already shifted. And also with digital media, more women are adaptable to change and they are quick at learning things. So I can see that more women are joining the industry, and even if you look at Instagram, you look at Instagram influencers, you can see that it is a lot of young girls that are in this space. So I definitely feel that media as an industry is definitely going to see way more women joining it in the next decade.
Interestingly enough, this being a few days before International Women's Day, the topic of women and the troubles and trials and obstacles they've had to face in climbing up the ladder in an industry has come to the fore a lot. It's very much in conversation at the moment, but I personally feel that gender doesn't, or hasn't, in my case at least, prevented me from doing what I needed to do, and I don't think any woman should feel that their gender is any reason to hold them back from doing what they want to do or getting where they want to get. I think that holds true even then and even now. It's about what you bring to the table and how determined you are to do what you want to do with your life and your purpose and your dream and your vision for your life. That said, I do understand and I will acknowledge that there are some difficulties. There are difficulties for many other women, perhaps cultural difficulties, or maybe their families don't want them to do certain things, or maybe if a boss or somebody in a hierarchical system sort of tells you not to do something, maybe some women are more likely maybe to feel that holds them back. But I would just encourage women, no matter what the circumstances, whether they've changed or not, to push forward and do what you want to do, despite what your gender is.
Initially, when I stepped into the Daily Mirror, I didn't have any clue as to what I was getting myself into. But it had everything from suspense to thrill to adventure all in one. So sometimes I had to go and speak to random people on the road and ask them for comments, and then I had to meet different individuals in life. And as a woman, it was sometimes a challenge because people were not open for comment. They were not very direct in their answers, and we just had to keep on asking them until we got the correct answer. I didn't have many female colleagues working with me at the time, but 7 years down the line we have improved as a newsroom. But if I take the media field in general, I think there's more opportunity for women now to pursue a career in media, and the environment has been set up in such a way that there's equality, there's gender diversity among the media field, to encourage more female reporters to get on the field and do reporting.
There's a lot of women in media compared to when I started, and media generally they say it's a male dominated industry, but that has changed because there's a lot of women who are changing the trend of media, and there's a lot of female editors also now, and a lot of women who are doing different things in the media also. And another thing is a lot of support, because I believe that support is something that we need to do, and particularly women supporting women. In fact, recently I contacted Rishini Weeraratne, who is managing the Vijaya online team, and I contacted her regarding some personal work, and she was ever willing to support. And then Roel from Ro, then Camellia from Daily News, Nelum Hatala. So they are very established media personalities and women in media. So it's very encouraging to know that there is a good support system, and I'm sure this support system will continue for continue in the future for women who are joining the media.
I think, in my opinion, it has progressed in the best possible way with social media, awareness, and a lot of campaigns going around. People understand the role of a woman in media and what they have to do. So back in the days, the issue was that it was hard to contact each other, and the main concern for parents would be safety. Because if you're working in the media, you've got to wake up early morning. You generally have to wake up like at around 3, for example, because that's what I do. And sometimes when you get back home, it probably would be past midnight. So always it has been a concern for parents, because you're a girl and then we don't know if you're safe outside or not. But with technology, with communication being very easy, and you can contact each other very easily, I think now that fear is not there anymore. But as this year's theme on International Women's Day is choose to challenge, we've got to choose to challenge, to support each other and fight for gender equality, because what's important here is understanding the nature of the job. So if your better half, if your parents understand the nature of the job, everything would be smooth. I think that's what's important, and we're getting there.
Well, I haven't been in media for too long to really talk about a certain topic, but I do know that when you go down that road, women were known to sort of, the women were known to be the people to take care of the home, the kids, the family, and the cooking and all that. And even back then, it was so much harder for a woman to even find a job, and especially in a male-dominant industry. And I think it's quite general in all industries. But right now, I think even for our generation, a lot of girls find it far more easier to get a job and go about and out in the night for events and interviews and all these things. So of course we have everything. It's much more easier for us than how it is for the ladies back then. So, and right now we have so many ladies who are leading media companies and even in other industries. So I think yes, there is a huge change in how women are approached to work.
So women in media was something that I think everyone, especially in Sri Lanka, it was more aspirational in the past, where we saw some great media figures who really took the media world by storm. Oprah Winfrey, we have Christiana Amanpour, great news anchors and people who've done that. But now we see in Sri Lanka a new generation that has emerged, and I think that's something that's very promising, because we see not only women in media but young men in media too, and I think that's a really good thing, because media is such an important aspect of any country, any demographic, male or female. So I think we have come a long way, and media has absolutely gone to the next level in Sri Lanka.
I think the media is known to be a male-oriented industry where there is more male journalism compared to females. But in the recent years, there is a lot of new female journalists, which is great. And in my newspaper, in the features department, we have more female journalists than males, so that is amazing. And there is a lot of female editors, power to them. I think the female journalists' voices are heard louder than ever before, and that is a big step towards change.
Right, my first job in 1990 was at the Island newspaper as a junior reporter, and it was very difficult then. We did not have the privilege of the internet or Google, so research had to be done very laboriously. Fast forward to 30 years later, we have the internet, which makes things so easy. Having said that, in the Sri Lankan context, it's a climate of fear and danger for many journalists. That is one worrying aspect about being a journalist in Sri Lanka. So that has changed tremendously in the last 3 decades.
In terms of what has changed in media, especially for women, I would say at present would be the narrative in which stories are being said. I personally feel that women have more authority in sort of relating stories that would appeal to women more, especially when it comes to a lot of sensitive topics at present, be it domestic violence, abuse, or even rape. So I feel like women have really stepped up to sort of speak out and relate stories that would sort of appeal to a female audience as well as a male audience, which is something that has been on the rise, which I personally feel, especially the past few years.
Compared to several years back, I see a great increase in young women coming out into media, and I think that's a step in the correct direction, because that means that the young girls are, more adaptive and more empowered to, follow their dreams. And it's with great pride that I see so many young women heading media organizations today. So I think that's a good sign.